It's Gill Alexander live from Circa. How about that? The beautiful studios here at Circa. The Circa studio, lovely Circa studio here in downtown Las Vegas. Kelly has been banished to the back for just a little while. Not banished, but he had to go to the back here. We make room for Unscripted with the crack man, Bill Krackomberger.
Oh,
there we go.
This week.
There.
All right. Wow, see, things change over there when you get to Circa.
Yeah.
Hey, how we doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Let me just start by apologizing.
No, it's no
I had
big
one
deal.
job.
No.
All I had to do was tell you it was at Circa. I
Yeah.
forgot. My apologies.
That's
you
okay.
good?
I was at the D and I walked over. Nothing like walking over down Fremont Street, passing 3 or 4 casinos at 7 in the morning.
Yeah, man. You get shivved out there, or are you okay?
It's okay.
Right.
It's okay, but it's a very interesting mix of people.
Yes, it is.
And it's just like surreal.
Questions
too.
will be asked of you on the way from there to here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Questions will be asked. Multiples.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
Yes, sir.
The Strip's no better. I want to just tell you something. The Strip is nothing like it used to be.
Yeah.
I don't want to come in and start sounding all pessimistic. It's just different. It's just different than it was pre-pandemic. I'll be nice and call it pre-pandemic.
What is your pandemic did some stuff to it for sure. What are your Thanksgiving plans today? Happy Thanksgiving,
Happy
man.
Thanksgiving. No, just same kind of things as everyone else does, I guess. Some family, a bird, and
A bird.
Yeah.
Do you involve yourself in the cooking at all, or not at all? You don't seem like a guy
No.
who does that.
I'm gonna put a tweet up after this though. Like, my mother's cooking on Thanksgiving was always like we all think this too, and we all not think it. It's facts. Our mothers and our grandmothers cooked better than our wives, unless our wives and girlfriends and fiancés picked up on their cooking.
Except for that, my mom did one thing on Thanksgiving that I could never get her to get right.
Oh wow!
I used to say to her, because she thought herself, well, she's a fantastic cook.
Yeah.
But she always jacked up the stuffing because she felt like she was like, I'm going to put raisins in it, and I'm going to put nuts in it, and I'm going to do all. It's in her accent,
right?
And I was like, can we just do the stovetop? Can we just get a big stick of butter and just give me the stove? Because I hated stuffing that had obstacles in it, and she was the queen of obstacles.
Oh.
And she refused to. She never listened to me or anything. Flavoring. Yeah, no, she just went with it every week. So that was the only thing I don't miss.
Yeah, and before we even start the show, good idea. Thinking back to my mom and my dad when they were here, my uncles and aunts, they all came down. We moved to New Jersey, but everyone came down from the Bronx, and my mother had like a nice little country house, and she cooked for everyone. And my aunt came down also and always cooked, and they were down every weekend anyway. But this was a special one, and you think about when we were kids, we just thought that was going to be there forever. We never thought things were going to change.
True, man.
We never thought someone dies and all of a sudden that was the glue that held the family together. And people get older and get their own families too, but it was so special, but you kind of just took advantage of it. It's going to be like this forever. Things are not forever. I'll tell you one thing.
Enjoy every moment.
Enjoy every moment because, I remember, my dad was a gambler because of my mother's, the Italians. They corrupted him. So my dad, country farm boy from West Virginia, hardworking, blue collar, work with his hands, tough guy. He was corrupted. So he would always have the games on. We were little kids, and my mother used to say, "You have to have the football on in the background."
Oh yeah, we had one of those.
And then as I got older, I actually curbed that. I said, "Listen, put the game on, but put the sound off and turn the Christmas music on." But so have a we had vinyl, of course. Mm-hmm. No one even knows what that is. But turn an album on and Time Life, Treasury, whatever, Bing Crosby, Nat King Cole. This is what we listen to in our house. I grew up with, and have that on in the background. But to have the games, you can have a visual of the games. You can curse under your breath if you want that about the games. Go ahead.
Did you have a half day of school on Wednesday growing up? On your Thanksgiving
I think we
week?
did.
That's how we had it.
I think we had a half day.
It was like full day Monday, full day Tuesday, half day Wednesday. I used to love Thanksgiving week because of that.
Yeah.
And then no school, of course, Thursday,
just
Friday.
Definitely make sure you guys know. Just take advantage of your family and know that things aren't always the same forever. And have a nice day. Try to mix things in and let's have a parade.
Let me ask you something. Because you said you had a lot to talk about today here.
Oh, too much.
But you said one thing before you sat down, which has to do, because I said sort of off the cuff, just randomly. I said, the entire world, I said earlier, has the Lions today. You actually talked with a book.
I did.
Oh, I want to hear this, because this is like...
It's funny. I put the tweet up this morning, too. I said, listen, the biggest exposure of the year for him, well, I say the year, of this football season is Detroit Lions. They have many players, and he said just 95% of the bets are coming in early morning is Detroit. And not only Detroit minus the points, but the Detroit teaser
leg
is coming in.
We just talked about that too. Yeah.
And they're minus 120 on 6-point teasers too, so they're really getting hit on them. And he said like literally he couldn't make this line high enough. But then I always said that I'm a ball buster. I said, listen, God blesses all you bookmakers too. First of all, the guy's very, very wealthy. You wouldn't even think that he'd be crying about a game before it even started. But anyway, yeah. So up to 8.5.
They don't know. We went through some stats though earlier. This is the one day of the year where sometimes they print money for bettors. Favorites get
favorites
home.
do really good on Thanksgiving Day. But
do.
I'll be real blunt. Besides, I am on the Detroit teaser. I bet him minus 1.5.
I am too.
But besides that, I like both other dogs. Give me a 14 on Washington.
I'm on the Commanders. I took that.
Yeah, give me a 14. It looks like there's all 13.5s now. Yes. Every book that I see on my screen is 13.5. So a 14 will probably pop up there.
Third game's tricky.
Third game's tricky. I lean the dog though there, plus the 7.5. If you can get 7.5, it's only a couple books in town.
What about tomorrow? We have a Black Friday game between the Dolphins and the Jets.
I'm an underdog guy to begin with, so there's a couple 10s out there. I see stations and Win still have 10. Here at Circa they have 9. DraftKings has plus 10, minus 12.
That's what we did get on Monday's guessing lines. This is the first week of the year. I was like, the year's been going great. I had total conviction when I do guessing lines on Monday. This was the first week where I'm like, oh no. These lines are forcing you to want to play the Commanders, the Giants, the Jets. They all seem so
teams.
Skewed.
Ugly teams.
If you can live through that experience, I'm not in most cases. I'm avoiding most of Sunday.
You said you're on the Commanders?
I am.
Okay, so let me just tell you, I'm not saying they overlooked to this game, but the Commanders may have overlooked an easy Giants squad, the worst team in football. I don't probably have them as the worst team. I probably have Carolina as the worst team, but Giants.
I wish I could say they overlooked the Giants. They never beat them though. Apparently.
Yeah, I mean, but was there 6 turnovers in that game? I think there was 6 turnovers in that game too.
And by the way, when they were minus 5, had a chance to win the game.
Yeah. Right.
That's how bad the Giants are.
There you go. See?
Yeah.
But I just think that 14 points, if it goes to 14, it's just I'm betting it. I don't bet a lot on NFL sides, and I'm going to bite if it goes to 14 because I think it's just double-digit. The underdogs, 14 or more, are ridiculous versus the spread lifetime since football's had sports betting. So
you also said this on the way in. Had the Chiefs won Monday night, which is a phrase that I use for my entry as well, our buddy Steve Fezzik would have been in first place in millions, and you would have been in?
I would have been 20th.
20th?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I got my I made a copy of it today. And I said, look at this, just figuring it out and looking at it.
Have you submitted your picks for this week?
No.
You have not? You're not playing any of the games today in Circa?
No, 48th. I'm in 48th
You're in
right
48th place.
Yeah.
Oh, I just saw your entry name. Now I know how to follow you.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. So you're avoiding all Thanksgiving and Black Friday games?
It's not like like DraftKings has a contest that you could put 1 or 2 plays in.
That's right. Circa, you can't.
Circa, you got to put them all in.
So you're not doing any of these today?
I'm not.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Can I call you dude? This is.
I mean, at least I don't plan to. Do we still have time?
I don't know, actually.
I don't even know.
I don't know what the rule is on Thursday.
Because the game's starting in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But
by the way, we should point that out.
5 picks in now.
Yes. I did because I can't stand Sunday's slate.
Yeah. But I like to always get to see what the late breaking line move is and maybe a key injury and all the practices are no big deal now.
Well, the thing is, people who say, I never put in Thursday night games, that's because you won't have perfect information for all the Sunday.
Right.
But if you like multiple games today, you have perfect information for today's games, right? So it might be worth it this week to do that.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm just going to go over to the Circa Twitter feed.
Oh, now I got you thinking.
Well, because now I just want to see what I never even looked at the lines because I figured, the contest point spreads.
Yeah.
7.5 on the Packers, 12 on the Cowboys, 7 on I'm not putting them.
Okay,
no,
all right.
No. 7 on the
Bill, by the way, with a PSA, the Lions game kicks off at 12:35 Eastern, 9:35 Pacific as well, so keep that in mind. We're coming back. Crack's got a lot to talk about. Hour number 2 of a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, the VSiN app, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV. Appreciate you having us in your lives on this Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you. It's Gill Alexander. Kelly Bidlin is here as well. But we are at Circa this morning, so he is in the back while Bill Krackomberger is kind enough to join us for a few more segments here, Unscripted with the Crack Man. Thank you for coming in, by the way. That's very kind of you to do so.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. I appreciate you having me each and every week.
Let me read, before you launch into something.
I'm not launching.
Let me read... launch it. Let me read some of these tweets because we have a billion tweets, and I just want to get to everybody because everybody's kind enough to spend the time to write in. I sever. Happy Thanksgiving, Gill and Kelly. Best wishes of good health and much love. Thank you to you as well, and same to you. A real mad Indy listening to the Megapod on a Thanksgiving AM. Wasn't going to start drinking until the NFL game started. After I got to the musical portion of the Megapod, college fight songs and Neil Diamond, the liquor came out. Official time, 8:56 Central. The Better Life, Tim Lawson, nothing like stuffing a turkey carcass while Todd and Chris Felica sing college fight songs to prepare me for a wonderful Thanksgiving. Once again, the Megapod, the Beating the Book Megapod, where all podcasts are available, the Beating the Book pod. Kevin Ryan, happy Thanksgiving to both of you. Take a look at Sam Howell's passing attempts. I got it at 38. It's a winner every week. Chance Copperpot, happy Thanksgiving with the numbers game while I cook. All of my wishes have come true. That's very nice of you. Thank you very much. And this is from... Jason H11 wants to say he's got the commies at plus 20.5, the Giants plus 10.5, 7-point teaser. What could possibly go wrong? Vegas Val Keys, happy Thanksgiving. Kelly and Gill, thankful for both of you. Thankful for you as well. Los Vegas 514, more holiday fun. One has to go. String bean casserole or raisins and potato salad. Happy Thanksgiving to the whole VSiN crew. I'll go raisins and potato salad. I love raisins, but not with anything else. Scott C, thankful for the good people of VSiN for being on the air today. Your voices are as familiar to me as family. That is very kind of you. We really do appreciate that. And Titans Insider, I'm trying to talk myself into taking the Titans in Survivor. Thoughts? I will just say this again. This is, if you are lucky enough to get through this Thanksgiving weekend, the Thursday, Friday, I should point out, at Circa. Other Survivor pools won't have that as stipulation. But in Circa specifically, if you are lucky enough to get through Thursday, Friday, I will tell you when I scripted it after week 3, and I'm not in this anymore. I've been bounced not only once, but I would have been bounced twice by now. But I had scripted this weekend, Minnesota/Tennessee. So to me, that held up pretty well. So I think a lot of, and by the way, all 372 remaining entries in Circa have the Titans available. So I do think the Titans are going to be the single most selected team, followed by the Vikings. So I think, do I like it? I do. Is it going to be a pleasant 3 hours for you? Absolutely not. It won't be. You're not in Survivor. You got bounced also early, right?
Yeah. So I'm not even paying attention, to be honest with you. I mean,
I understand.
Someone did email me this week and say, "Crack, I have an entry in Survivor. Can you tell me if anyone will take a piece of this and I could sell it now?" And I said back to him that I don't know anybody, and there's a lot of trust. Nothing against you. I don't know you. You're a name on a computer,
right?
And even though he's a loyal follower, but there has to be some. You have to get a lawyer. There's got to be a legal issue. You can't just say, okay, yeah, hi, I just met you. Oh, yeah, sure, I'm going to send you $5,000 for your entry and be partners with you.
You've mentioned this before, that it's a dicey thing. I will say this though. Like typically, if I were one of the remaining 372, my pat answer would be, I'm not selling mine. I'm still in it. But I believe that this group of 372 is the chalkiest of all, like going back in previous years when you get down to this point, this is the chalkiest bunch ever, meaning that they have used this as a collective. They've used the highest rate of good teams, because the only people who have gotten through this far are the people who have played virtually no game theory. They have just gone with the obvious one, and it's worked out this year for them. So I would actually be open to selling it if I was one of those people, because
interesting.
Because you have no particular advantage over anybody, even if you're still alive. Generally speaking, there could be an exception to that rule.
Yeah.
You had a lot you wanted to talk about.
I was away for a couple of days. I was back in New York and on the East Coast. I filmed a show at an MSG Network show, and right there at the Garden, actually.
Nice.
And I also went to my buddy Teddy Atlas's event he has every year, his charity event every year. And some of the people that he had there this year special. You see Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes, I don't realize he won 39 fights in a row.
49.
Oh, 49?
I thought
they announced 39. Maybe the announcer was wrong.
Well, maybe I thought he was like 49. I could be wrong about that.
I don't know, but they said 39 in a row. But he was heavyweight champion for years.
Yeah,
there was nobody.
Nobody could.
It was almost like wrestling with Bob Backlund. There was like no one could beat this 5'11" little.
Such an obscure reference. Yeah. I love that. Yeah,
I don't know how I come up with that, but yeah. But no, but really there was just no one challenging him, and he was a tough guy. He was a tough guy, but he was dressed so impeccable. Walked down the aisle with his wife holding him because he's older now. He has some problems, but he made it to the event. Great guy. Got to speak to him for a minute. Tony Danza. He is such a good person. I speak to him almost every year, and he gave me $10,000 for a charity auction a couple of years back. He bid for the auction. He goes into his pocket. Tracy Morgan, another guy, goes into his pocket for tens of thousands. Really good guy. He was there.
Look at you hobnobbing.
No. Well, I wasn't sitting on the dais with these people. I was in the crowd like any other $200 person sitting in the crowd. But I do buy tickets. I do charity. I do support the charity and stuff. And so anyway, yeah. Mad Dog Russo, very nice guy too. Always talk to him. I wanted to talk about Stephen A. So Stephen A. this year. And I've been with Stephen A., me, Teddy, and Stephen A. backstage a couple times, almost an hour one time in a green room. He's just not that person that's on ESPN screaming and ranting and going crazy. He's such a different person. He's very humble. He's nice to everybody. Mm-hmm. But
I'm told Skip Bayless is a very nice guy also.
Really?
In real life, right?
Not a big fan.
Yeah, well, no. But it does speak to... you were saying he was very soft-spoken, Stephen A.
Stephen A. is very nice to everybody, and he's cool with everybody. And it's not that same person; it's an act.
But listen. Even for those of us who do our little shows here at VSiN, by comparison to their large platform, I used to do 5 hours on the air, right? But here at VSiN, I'll do 2 hours, and I'll go catatonic for most of the rest of the day because you're kind of sick of hearing yourself talk. Imagine Stephen A., who screams for hours on TV and radio. He must go home and you could barely get a word out of him. I would imagine.
I would think you're right.
Maybe, but it seems like he would be that way.
So I come home and just to put yourself in perspective of different things in life, and you see, I have a neighbor that's a pretty wealthy guy, and he says, "Hey, Bill, are you going to go out gambling this week?" And I was like, well, I go out and pick up my free play. I don't even consider it. Gambling's not the right word for my brain, but it is gambling, I guess. But I go up and scoop my free play. Sure, I get $2,000 a week, $1,500 from one casino, $500 from another. He said, could I go with you? And I know it opens up a can of worms when someone comes out with you. It just does sometimes. But I said, okay, sure. I said, we'll go. I'll take you.
What do you mean? What do you mean by can of worms?
Oh God, because they don't understand that what I do. Like I know in order to put.
Oh, they get judgy.
They don't understand nothing about what I do. Mm-hmm. So I know I have to put 100,000 through the machine, which sounds like a lot, but it's really not. 2 hours of play, you could put 100,000 through the machine. So I know what I have to put through in volume through the machine in order to generate and keep that 1,500 a week coming. So I go out with him, and here's what I mean. It's exactly what I thought ahead of time, because I know it always happens with someone. Something happens. I have one of my best friends back in New Jersey in Margate. Like when I go out with him, if I hit for like $5,000, he goes, okay, quit. You got to quit now.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I just started playing 10 minutes ago. Yeah, but you got to quit. You won. No, that's not. Then I'm not going to get the offer again. Like they don't. Now this guy even took it a step further. He said, Wednesdays aren't a good day to go to the casino. They don't pay good on Wednesdays. I said, what? He said, yeah. Wednesdays aren't a good day. You got to go on Saturday. You should get free play you can get on Saturday.
Science.
He said you should get the Saturday free play because the machines hit more. So I had to explain to him that on a Saturday there's more volume in the casino. So it sounds like there's obviously more bells ringing because there's so much more people taken in the casino. And he said, no, that's not true.
It brings up an interesting thing, though, because you're right. It does open up a can of worms. Just generally, it doesn't have to be that specific instance of someone following you around. I'm just talking about a general betting conversation with someone who is not as immersed in this as you are.
Right.
Have you gotten to the point, because I have, where I can sense who the people are that are going to get judgy because they have their own perspective on it. They're not immersed in it, so they don't actually know what they're talking about in many cases, right? They don't know exactly what it is that you're doing. And so it's not an interaction worth having as a result at all.
So
I'm just not interested
it's not
in that.
worth having at all.
It's not worth having because
that's why, yeah.
That's right. There's no amount of time you can spend with them. Well, there probably is an amount, but it's way farther out there in terms of the amount than you'd be willing to spend to actually convince.
So why can't I just say, yeah, you're probably right? Yeah, you're probably right. Wednesdays, I know the weekends are better. I know. I don't have time on the weekend. Why don't I just lie? Why do I have to try to inform somebody that already is a control freak because they think in their regular life, since they made a ton of millions of dollars in the stock market, boy, I just gave this guy up, so that he thinks that he's a genius at everything.
That's right.
Yeah.
The stock
Meanwhile,
market,
every idiot that had money in the stock market for the last 20 years made money. If you didn't,
that's right. I always say that about like people who are in the middle of a real estate boom and they think it's them.
That's right.
There
you go. Same thing.
Look at me. I'm a genius. I've rode the wave of all of this. No, it is. But people are specifically judgmental about what it is that we do specifically. Even though it's been legalized, it still has a stigma attached to it for sure. And so that example just gives me, it triggers that for me where it's like, yeah, it's not worth having. You're right.
And by the way, picking up this free play, it doesn't mean that I'm a winning player. I don't want anyone to think that I'm bragging about winning on video poker, that's for sure. I mean, I do have a better chance than the average. When you go into a casino and you realize that some of these people don't have that average chance, where they get nothing up front. Boy, I'll tell you what, it's really hard to win gambling and all, but we'll talk about it after the break.
Kragman, Unscripted Bill Krackomberger, at Bill Krackomberger with a K on Twitter. Coming back on the other side, it's a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network. We get tweets at Beating the Book. I don't usually read, every single tweet we get, but everybody is so nice on Thanksgiving, and I just feel bad not reading because everybody's taking the time to say, such nice things. Todd Bubba Horwitz, happy Thanksgiving to you and Kelly. A numbers game is always a highlight of my day. I have watched or listened since day one. We so appreciate that. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Tim Kafer, the UNC fight song duel with Todd and Felico on the Megapod was peak Megapod. Yes, it was. Jamie Leva, my guys, Gill and Kelly. Eating at the adult table, fantastic. Listener since day one. I am thankful for a live show on this great date. The happy Thanksgiving to you both. You too, Jamie. Appreciate it. Unless it's Jaime, and then in that case, thank you, Jaime. Todd Wishnev, responding to all the love on the fight songs. Clearly, I do the fight song better. Chris is passable, not bad. You know what the song is, but no artistry. With me, you get brilliant performance. J-Cam, Macy's Parade has had En Vogue and Belle Biv DeVoe so far. If I see Keith Sweater, Jodeci, good bet Gil curated the lineup. That would be a good bet. Wow. Macy's Parade's killing it. Let's see. Jesse Welch. Hey, you guys might not know the depth in which you've intertwined into a lot of our daily routines. And for me, a numbers game is always a 2-hour bright spot to my day. For that, I am very grateful. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. I can go on, and I will a little later on with some of these, but thank you. That is so nice. That is so heartfelt. And we appreciate it. Kelly and I appreciate it. Everyone at the network appreciates it. It's beyond just a numbers game. To the extent that you have let all of us into your lives. It's a symbiotic relationship. Obviously, we're nothing without you guys, so we appreciate it back in spades. So thank you so much. And we love what we do, man. Kelly and I have a blast every morning, and we are appreciative to you for coming in every Thursday of your life, in here for an hour, man.
No, I know. It's a pleasure of mine, though. Really, it's my pleasure to come in. I like trying to inform some people, and just to tell them about what's going on in life as a gambler, as someone that makes their living professionally being a gambler. And that's my first and foremost way of making a living. So it's nice to have that kind of a person here. And I really think like a special show we had a couple weeks ago at Randy in studio, two guys rapping back and forth, telling them about little tricks of the trade, trying to help the public out and giving them little nuggets of wisdom off our 30 years.
You know why I think you resonate with people, though? That I think of like a Hollywood casting director was trying to cast in their mind's eye without even knowing, without even being immersed in the industry, that you'd come right out of central casting for them.
Oh, I don't really think of it like that, but I guess I think kind of have been told that I'm a cartoon character.
Well, I don't mean it like that.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah. But you fit the image for that.
Sure, and it's really a blessing to, have a situation where I come from back east, and the people I've dealt with back east growing up, and being a losing gambler. I was a losing gambler before I was a winning gambler.
We were just talking about Atlantic City.
We were talking about it on break. I saved something for Gill, and I said, let me ask him. I said, probably not, because Gill was raised with good stock and good family. He probably never had this happen to him. And I know people out there on Twitter have had this happen to him, and people listening. So, listen, we were little D-gens as kids. I was in Atlantic City at 16. So you have to understand. I mean, I grew up around gambling, and my not going to say crazy family, but crazy friends. I grew up in a Boardwalk town where there was gambling everywhere. I grew up in high school that we were flipping quarters in woodshop, pitching quarters behind a post office. I grew up around gambling, parlay cards, and so I've been to Atlantic City multiple times where me and my buddies all went so broke that we could not pay the tolls, and on the way home, there was no cameras. We had, you took your hand and you hit the toll bucket and made it like the toll thing was jammed, and just honked the horn and blew through the toll. And I said, Gill, that never happened to you. He goes, of course it did.
Of course it did.
I was like, no way.
Yes, because I can remember my buddies Tom, Juan, and I having so little out of Atlantic City that we had to do it by math how we would parse out the McDonald's with that amount of money. Like, how could each of us get
before
fed?
The tolls.
Oh, without question.
Wow.
Yeah, we didn't even think that far through.
Yeah.
We were young and dumb. We didn't
I know something didn't happen to you. It happened to me only once. No way this happened to you. We were so broke that we ran out of gas. We were going up to exit 117.
That was not us.
Exit 72.
Yeah.
On the Garden State Parkway, ran out of gas. No gas. And, there was I don't even know how we got the money to put the gas in the tank, but I remember a state trooper coming over helping us finally, but we had no gas in the car. So I had a 1972. My Uncle Benny passed, and he left me a 1972 Chrysler New Yorker 444 barrel. It still had the plastic on the back seats. Uncle Benny was just so cool.
Uncle Benny.
Oh, Uncle Benny was so cool. I couldn't believe he left me that car. He left me this big tank.
It's a massive vehicle.
Massive vehicle.
Yeah.
And it was literally, so that was around 1986. So it's a 14-year-old car, and Uncle Benny only had 1,700 miles on it. I had a 1,700-mile car.
How long did you keep it for?
I totally ruined it. I was like 17 years old, 18 years old. I ruined the car. I don't even know, but I feel bad now. Even my mother's Thunderbird, I ruined her Thunderbird. We're kids. We're kids, and we were kids that were. I grew up around a bunch of gamblers, man. I grew up around a gambling group. We were going from Freehold to Monmouth, triple plays. We went to literally, not Belmont, Aqueduct. I mean, we went to all these different racetracks. I was a total sucker. I'm so grateful to being able to share this stuff with people, and how not to bet horses, not to be an idiot, not to give 25% to the track, not to give 25% to the casino on Money Wheel or Keno. So I like to say, hey, play video poker. It's 1% compared to a 12% average slot machine, 10% average slot machine. I like them to learn off my playbook of life, that they can come in and have a little bit better chance to win some money or lose less, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Thanksgiving, you remember betting when you were a kid on Thanksgiving?
Of course.
You do.
Yes.
It was part of the event, part of the holiday.
Of course. Like I said.
Were you betting with local bookies?
Of course
at that
I
time?
was.
Yeah.
We had no choice.
Did your mom know you were doing this?
She probably did, because my father was betting with bookies. It's the 80s. It's, you're betting with bookies, and we're all betting, and we all started out with those little parlay cards that come around to the house on Wednesday. You fill them out, they pick them up Saturday.
Did she ever get mad at your dad for influencing you?
Probably. My mother, don't forget now, my mother was a knock-around broad from the Bronx.
No.
I mean, she's
hey,
not.
Pro tip, don't forget.
She was so tough. My mother and her sister were so physically tough, they would scare me. I mean, they were just tough ladies.
Knock around broad from the Bronx.
Yeah, I could say that's my mom, and I'm even saying
talk about
that.
your mother that way.
Yeah, she loved that though. She loved talking. She loved that.
Because if that was my house, right, my mom would go nuts on my dad, right? She would be like, "Why are you doing this?"
My father took me to the racetrack when I was like 8 years old. I was hooked.
Oh yeah,
8 years old. I loved it. I hit an exacta for $2. I think I had $1 of it. I think I went partners with him. And I hit an exacta, and I was hooked. I was, by the time I was 15, I was taking buses to Monmouth Park from, through Kingsburg, Long Branch, Eatontown. It was crazy.
You see, for me, it wasn't for my parents. For me, it was just something in my brain innate.
Wow.
Right? I was the guy doing the football
Because usually
pools.
it's your parents. That's or
well, it has to start
uncle,
somewhere,
old
right?
Uncle or something. Yeah.
It has to start somewhere, and for me, it started with me. So God had helped me if I had kids, right?
Yeah.
Because it would go down that way. But I was the kid who did the football pools. I was the kid who, for some reason, no one ever taught me about odds, but I've told this story before. Georgetown was dominant in college basketball.
Yep.
I would go around, and my schoolmates at the time will remember this. I would be like, I'll take Georgetown. You get the other, I guess at the time it was 47 teams or whatever it was, and I'll give you, but you have to give me odds, you have to pay me 5 times as much.
Right.
No one taught me that. It was just in my head.
Wow.
Like, how did I come up with that?
Yeah, that is something. Yeah, I had to get taught. I told the story a little bit. My cousin Anthony on the Boardwalk on the Jersey Shore in Kingsburg. I worked for my cousin, which was my aunt and uncle owned it. My Aunt Caroline and Uncle Jimmy. Uncle Jimmy's still alive. He's 95. So they had a big pizza business on the Boardwalk. But at nighttime, all the Boardwalk games became games of chance. From games of chance to real money games. So we gambled on money wheels, we gambled on poker, on AC Deucey, and my cousin was very sharp.
AC Deucey, what was that?
AC Deucey means you put 2 cards down, and if like an ace is high, a deuce is low, and you have to guess the next card will come in between. If you actually get a deuce or an ace, you lose though.
Gotcha.
So the it was a math game, really.
AC Deucey.
AC Deucey was a big game, and you can go pot, and you can go up to whatever's in the pot if you want to risk. But there's chances that you actually get. You get a tie and lose, or there's a lot of there could be a mechanic in the game, dealing seconds or holding aces on the bottom. There's a lot of little things there's so many things you learn, and I learned at a young age. I was actually pretty sharp with card counting from a young age. My cousin Anthony was very sharp. Went to card counting school. Probably the most wealthy guy in the family now. He's a slumlord. He owns like 30 properties. It all started from AC Deucey.
Just take a shot at him on the way out. Yeah. Thanksgiving memories from the Krackomberger household, where his mom was just a broad from the Bronx. We'll come back. One more segment with the Crack Man, right here on a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. This is Gill Alexander, live from Circa, everybody. They let us into the big house today. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Happy Thanksgiving to all in advance. These are just so nice. Touchdown Jesus. Happy Thanksgiving, and thanks to the Beating the Book Megapod for the absolute chaos preparing us for any family gatherings today. Thanks as always, Gill and company. Thanks to you. I got a couple tweets on this. This one is from Kenneth S913. For those who are into wacky trends, apparently the Detroit Lions are 0-12 since the AFL-NFL merger in 1970 on Thanksgiving when the moon is in waxing gibbous phase. And apparently today it's in the waxing gibbous phase. Right. Do you know what that is?
I heard of it, but I just don't know what it is.
It's the 4th phase in the cycle of phases. I had to look it up.
Oh, okay.
I had no idea, but there you go, trend seekers. This is from... let's see, Jim Devitt. I'm the cook for Thanksgiving, and I plan the mealtime for optimal football viewing. Good. No questions asked. Happy Thanksgiving. You guys are the best. There he goes. You see, he caters it around optimal football viewing. We were talking about that earlier. Chance Copperpot, did you really make Bill Crackman run across town? I have an honest question. How come nobody ever talks about 13-point teasers? I'm taking the taco holders up and the Nebraska-Iowa total down to 12.5.
Unbelievable.
Over. Yes, you need 4 to 5 picks to make the bet. Is it negative EV? He asks.
I don't know if negative EV over 12.5 would be wrong. That sounds like it's right. I know I don't tease college, but wow. Not even thinking about that total. That's unbelievable.
Well, so that's
the chance you can't get 7-7.
Remember the first week of preseason, we talk about the totals are so low. We talk about doing the 10-point teasers on the totals because it knocks them down to like 25, 24, and then you just go over on them. This Nebraska-Iowa game is going to be on a 10-pointer, right? It's like 16.5. Yeah. So Will Hill was saying it the right way the other day. If it's 7-7, you win it, that leg, right?
That's what you said, right? Yeah.
So good friend Shillionaire. We absolutely need a podcast of Todd and the Bear singing dueling fight songs. That part from Megapod had me laughing so hard. Happy Thanksgiving to you and Kelly and the whole crew. I'm at work today, and it's great to hear you guys live. Thanks for tuning in this morning. And Bill Walsh, really enjoyed the Megapod. Not that Bill Walsh, but another one. Really enjoyed Megapod, the musical yesterday. Megapod, the musical. The story of one man's quest to middle Buffalo and hit the UNC over while totally ignoring the task at hand. Tour de force performances from Todd, Chris, and Hubert Davis in a supporting role for the ages. Todd tells a Hubert Davis story where he played pickup basketball. He didn't know it was Hubert Davis, and he's like talking. He's like, "Give me the ball." To an actual pro NBA player, and Hubert Davis is like, "All right, Carolina, here you go." Starts wearing his Carolina shorts.
Gil, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
I didn't. This is just because of this tweet just now. So Eric Berg just said a nice tweet here. Happy Thanksgiving to the men that give so much education every day. But at the bottom, he says, "I look forward to taking you out for sushi." Gil, do you know any good spots?
Yes.
I have a question. So now this whole sushi thing, I don't know how it started. So did you mention on air a great spot, but you don't want to give it out because you're afraid it's going to get too packed?
One time,
right.
I said on this show, this is the most amazing thing that, in terms of the legs that it's gotten.
Legs, that's right.
One time, I said, I went to a sushi spot that is so spectacular, I don't even know if I want to tell people where it is.
Is it still spectacular?
It is still spectacular. But so Kelly sort of called me out on it, and I blame him.
Okay.
I blame him for making me the villain in this. But I am the villain, right? Because I am what the kids call gatekeeping. I'm like, it's so good, I don't know if I want to tell people about it. But I am conflicted, right? Because it's a small business that if I tell people where it is, they're going to get massive influx of business.
Do you go that often that you're worried about being jammed up that much?
Why, yes, I do, Bill Krackomberger.
Oh, well, I mean, if I promise not to
I'll tell you.
Okay.
But if I tell you, you're going to tell somebody.
No, if I promise to go and pay and not tell, you'll go with me. I'll go with you.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay. Right. But here's the thing. I promise, I'm making this promise now. One day I will reveal it here on the show.
Wow.
I will.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's been a bit for, like, we didn't intend for this to be a bit, but it's become a bit because every day we get at least 3 or 4 tweets about this. Right. And I literally talked about it
So you're going to be like the Irishman on his deathbed revealing where Hoffa was, and that'll be you, Gil, on your deathbed revealing where the sushi
Geraldo opened the vault episode. Yeah.
So a couple guys, Joe Abraham, can you guys explain why some of the books won't allow certain teasers? I'll tell you what. I have heard this before. So maybe some of the books, maybe they're not regulated, though, Joe. I think that's what you're talking about. They won't allow those Wong teasers through the 7 and the 3.
Is that right?
I heard that.
Oh, that's not regulated shops.
Well, or they'll allow it, and the 6 point that was 120 is now 140. So I don't know if that's what he's talking about. There's someone that knows AC Deucey here, and you just brought back an unbelievable story. Oh, my God. Just call me Skip. Bill, talking AC Deucey is great. Nothing like posting a low ace king betting the pot. Now, what you're saying, Skip, is you're declaring, because, see, the ace is high in our games, and the deuce is low. But what you say about the other way around, that happened to me. That happened to me in a game. For a lot of money at the time, it was a lot of money to me. I don't remember the amount. But one of the kids' fathers was in the game. He came home with a half a bag on, and he wanted to join the 16, 17-year-old kids in the game, and an ace and a king came out. So it's exactly what you're saying. And he's like, pot. And the son is saying, no, Dad, there's no room. Ace, king, there's no room in between. He goes, it's pot. He said, no, the ace is low. And the kid said, no, Dad, the ace is not low. The ace is high. This is my house, and the ace is low in my house.
Oh, he shifted the rules.
He shifted the rules. Yeah. And, of course, me being a little wise guy I said, well, I'm not going to mention the guy's name because, to be honest with you, I didn't realize till later in life. I knew he was a tough guy, but didn't realize he was like with the Westies, Irish mob tough guy. I said, listen, Mr. whatever his name was, I said, that if you want to take money off 16-year-old kids and you feel like you should, go ahead, make it.
Did you really say that?
He actually said, if I had a Bible, I touched the Bible. He told his wife, get the gun out of the drawer. Like, I mean, you gotta start killing.
He
people
sounds like a lovely guy.
No, I mean, it's unbelievable, and it just made me think of it. That declared low in the game. Just the things.
Did he take your money or not?
Yes,
he did.
Yes,
without compunction. He's like, sure.
Trials and tribulations of life. Yeah. He absolutely took the money. So it just kind of made me think of that. But anyway,
did you want to call out your buddy, or did you want to not call out your buddy?
Maybe I listen. So I was making fun of. I'm sorry, Steve. I always say good things about you all the time. Yeah. So Steve asked me to get him a room. I have a good connection to the local casino for their suite. They have a beautiful suite. So I had a good connection to get that. And Steve's like, I'm going to call that favor in. Can you get me that suite? at the local. I said, sure, no problem. So, and he said, oh, there's a show that weekend too. Could you get me a couple tickets? I said, yeah, no problem. I'll get them for you. I texted my buddy who's a vice president there, and he said, okay, good. Thanks for letting me know ahead of time. I'll take care of it for you guys, for you. And now Steve sends me another text. Can you remind me of what day the show is? He asked me about the show, but I said, okay, it's whatever. I think it was December 15th.
Sure.
And then he says, can you remind me of the days that I was getting in the casino, the room nights? I said, what's up here? What do you mean? You asked me about this, and I got the days you want. He goes, I know, but my wife wants like the confirmation. I sent him back a giant hashtag in capital letters, KRACKMAN. He's like, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be one of those guys.
He's scared he knows because he listens. He's scared to ask you for the confirmation number.
He wants a confirmation, Steve.
He's scared to ask you.
But you know what? He's smart. Listen to your wife or whatever. That's fine. But yeah, so I just thought that was kind of funny. I said, I'm going to bury you tomorrow on VSiN.
You said that to him?
Yeah, I told him.
I'm going to
bury you tomorrow on VSiN.
And what did he say?
He says, oh, I guess I deserve it. Okay.
See, he's like that in real life. He's very much like that. And then he gets on Twitter and he's like Charles Oakley, like Benson.
Charles Oakley, don't remind me of that bum. He didn't show up for one of the Teddy dinners one year.
Oh, is that right?
They gave him an award and everything. I had a big award and he didn't even show up. So, screw him.
Well, listen, Bill, happy Thanksgiving. It's your last 60 seconds. Would you like to wish the people a happy Thanksgiving?
Oh, of course. I did it at the beginning. I'll do it again. Have a nice Thanksgiving with your families. And again, try that thing I said. Try to keep the game's on, but the volume off, maybe a little holiday music in the background, and always remember that these are what family and holiday is about, is today. Today, and for me, it was Christmas Eve also. So remember those two nights or those two holidays or whatever holidays you celebrate, they're not going to be there forever. So enjoy them and make sure you have some special memories. And now we have iPhones and stuff where you can tape things and audio and videotape. We didn't have them when we were a kid. We had my Uncle Benny with the camera with the light on it in everyone's face. I'm dead serious. It was like an 8 millimeter. It was like, oh, it's killing me. And now we cherish those few tapes that we have.
Yeah, man. But, such keepsakes.
Oh, well, thanks again, though,
listen,
guys.
Thanksgiving's beautiful. I think it's a lot of people's favorite holidays. Food, football, and family, and Christmas Eve, as you said, is the other one where people are just nicer, man. People are nicer.
People are. They bump into you and they say, excuse me and sorry.
Yeah, man.
A little bit nicer than
man, was I jealous of you Christmas people when I was a kid? That's a whole other story. Bill, thank you, man.
Thanks, guys.
I apologize again for sending you to the wrong casino.
Gone. It's all over. I'm thrown out.
See you at the D next week when we're going over there again. Kids table.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.